Nick, good to see you. Lots to talk
Hey.
about today. Medicare basics and misconceptions. There are many different enrollment periods with Medicare, and there are penalties if you miss your enrollment deadlines. October 15th kicks off annual election period that runs through December 7th. First question, when are you eligible for Medicare, and what deadlines do you need to keep in mind?
Well, you're eligible at age 65.
Okay.
But a lot of people think, well, when I hit 65, it's going to be automatic. It will just automatically kick in, and it's not automatic.
Nope.
And actually, if you're still working, let's say you're still working for a company, you still have what they call creditable coverage. Creditable coverage is usually if your employer has over 20 people working there, you classify as creditable coverage. So let's say that you're age 65, you have your own health insurance, through your employer. I would still suggest go on Medicare Part A, and we're going to talk here in a second about what Medicare Part A is. But just remember, it's not automatic. It doesn't just pop on. But then you have all these, people will talk about all day long about how Medicare is like alphabet soup, and it literally is. There's all these enrollment periods and different things. Like the very first thing, when you hit 65, it opens up this period of time called the initial enrollment period, and it lasts 7 months. It's the 3 months before your 65th birthday, the month of your 65th birthday, and the 3 months after your 65th birthday. And that's what they call the initial enrollment period. But if let's say that you miss that, right? And you miss that initial enrollment period, then they have what's called general enrollment period. And that's a January 1st to March 31st point of time that you can get signed up if you didn't already. And then there's something called special enrollment period. And that's usually like if you lost a job, you're over 65, you lost a job, then you're going to, or maybe you retired after that, you have a special period of time that lasts 8 months to get on Medicare at that point in time. And then there's two others. If you have a Medicare supplement, you have what's called an annual enrollment period, which, like you said, that's October 15th to December 7th. And what that period of time is when you can change your Medicare supplement if you want to make a change to the plan. And then if you have Medicare Advantage, that's different. That has a different, if you have Medicare Advantage, that's usually from January 1 to March 31st when you can make a change to your Medicare Advantage plan. But one big thing about this is, let's say you think, hey, you know what, I'm 66, 65, hey, I don't need Medicare. I'm not going to go on it because I'm healthy. And it costs something because Medicare Part B does have a premium cost to it, but I'm just not going to go on it. And I'm just going to bypass all these enrollment periods. Well, once Medicare catches up to you, you'll eventually have to sign up. And once you do sign up, they have what's called a late enrollment penalty. And that late enrollment penalty goes on, and that penalty stays with you every year for the rest of your life. So you just want to make sure that you know these enrollment periods so that doesn't happen.
Yeah, no lifetime penalties. Good.
Yep.
So, all right, there are 4 parts to Medicare, of course, A, B, C, D. Let's first talk through parts A and B and the differences between the two.
Yeah, like I said, alphabet soup, right? So let's
Yeah.
start with Part A. Part A, AKA hospital insurance. That is going to be like your inpatient care, your skilled nursing care, hospice, that type of stuff. I just call it hospital insurance. Then you've got your Part B, AKA your doctor. That's like your outpatient care, doctor services, preventative care, that type of stuff that you have under your Part B. Then you have Part C, Part C is different. Let's go to Part D real quick. Part D is going to be like your prescription drug coverage. So you have your Part D, which is your drug. So you have your A, which is hospital, your B, which is your doctor, and then your D, which is your drug plan that you have. And usually a drug plan, and that's all that. Part C, which is called Medicare Advantage, is actually something that takes Part A, Part B, Part D, and wraps it together in one plan. And we'll go more into that, later on about what Part C is. But basic Medicare is hospital Part A and Part B. Now, Part B does have a cost to it. There's a premium to that. It's like $174 right now this year, unless you classify for the Medicare surtax, aka IRMA, which we'll talk about here in a second. There you go. So IRMA is a friend we don't necessarily want. It was a hurricane here in Florida not too long ago, But if you make too much money, they'll look back 2 years into what you made. So in 2024, your Medicare premiums are determined based on what you made in 2022. And so let's say that you made $193,000 and as a single person in 2022. Well, your Medicare Part B premiums are not $174, they're $559. So you can see the chart here. So one strategy is you got to know if you classify for IRMA and how that could affect you when you start getting there.
Right. And just to give everybody a heads up, for 2025, that premium surcharge jumps from 174.70 to 185. So
yeah, it did. It went up 5.9%. Everybody's excited because they say, oh, well, Social Security got an over 2% bump. Yep. But Medicare premiums went up 5.9%. So as I say, the government giveth and the government taketh away.
Yeah, that's another video for another day, though. Let's keep on this one. Talking about Part C. Some people say you need it. That's the Advantage plan. Others say you don't. How do we make this decision?
Yeah, so Part C, if you look on the left side of this, you have original Medicare, Part A, Part B, and then you have your Part D. So something about Part D, I do want to go back to that real quick and mention that, because that also has a late enrollment penalty. So let's say that you don't get a Part D plan, a drug plan. And let's say that you say, I'll just get it later because I don't take any drugs right now. It is optional, but if you don't take it and then you do it later on, you can have a late enrollment penalty. And that late enrollment penalty lasts every year for the rest of your life just because you didn't take it on time. So you always want to make sure that you take your Part A, your Part B, and get a Part D drug plan on time so you don't get into any of these late enrollment penalties. But then what happens is Part A, Part B, Part D, the left side of this sheet, that is just part of it. That doesn't cover everything. So when you want more coverage, because that only covers part of it, you get what's called Medigap insurance or Medicare supplement. Look at that as the umbrella that goes over top of everything else. It covers what regular Medicare doesn't cover. And so there's a cost for that. But what some people will do is they'll go into what they call Medicare Advantage. Medicare Advantage Part C wraps Part A, Part B, Part D all together into one finite plan. It's cheaper because you don't have the premium for the Medicare supplement up front. But now all of a sudden, when you go under Medicare Advantage, you're limited into the network. They have a in-network where they'll tell you, here's who you have to use, your HMO, your PPO plan type things. And there's co-pays that you have to pay. So it's cheaper on the front end, but sometimes it can be more costly and you can lose the type of care that you have on the back end, like as far as who you can use. They'll have like their clinics and their doctors that you can use. So that's why a lot of people like Medicare supplements, because under that, they get more freedom. They get the choice to choose, because if it's covered by Medicare, it's covered by the Medicare supplement. So typically you have much more options as far as the doctors go. And usually it covers pretty much everything. So once you pay for that one thing, it is more cost up front, but it covers usually everything on the back end. And it's just like a one and done type deal. And a lot of times that gives people peace of mind, knowing that, hey, everything's pretty much covered. And it's the best thing that I can have, when I am retired.
Mm-hmm. So with this alphabet soup then, Nick, this is overwhelming. How do you help a client determine what he or she needs?
Well, so the first thing that you have to do is get educated on it. One of the things, I would suggest to people, we have a toolkit that we give out. We talk about this on our radio show. We call it our Medicare toolkit. So people can send an email to info@group10financial.com. info@group10financial.com, and just type in the email, I would like to get a Medicare Success Toolkit, and just put in your name, your address, and it's a box. It's literally a box that's this big of Medicare tools. And really all it was designed to do was to take this alphabet soup and bake it down into something that you can understand. And we'll ship this box to you at our cost. In the mail, we'll put a stamp on it and ship it to you. And all you have to do is just send an email to info@group10financial.com. So that's the first thing, is get educated so you know what you're doing. because there's a lot of resources out there that aren't worth anything. So you want to do that first. And then what you want to do is that a whole question about, well, then how do I know if I should get a Medicare supplement plan or a Medicare Advantage plan? Is you got to look at maybe find out who your doctors are right now and find out from your doctors to say, hey, doctor, do you take Medicare Advantage? And if they say yes, well, maybe that's a possibility there. If they say no, we take Medicare supplement only, well, then that tells you what's going on. So just look at those pros and cons, but definitely you want to have almost like a timeline so you know when these enrollment periods are, because you don't want to get into any of those late enrollment penalties. And then also start looking at, should I go Medicare supplement? Should I go Medicare Advantage? Our team can help with that too. Because we have access to all those. So if you're just wanting a basic quote to find out how much is this going to cost me, that's stuff that our team can do because we do this all the time. It's definitely, we talk about financial planning as there's 5 pieces to financial planning. There's investment planning, income planning, tax planning, estate planning, and healthcare planning. Medicare is one of those. So we have a team that can help out too. And so if that's something you need to, you can always give us a call here at the office at 844-GROUP-10. And we can help out with that and kind of walk you through this alphabet soup and figure out what's the best option for your unique situation.
All right, perfect. And then also your website, how else can we reach you, Nick?
Group10financial.com, that's perfect. Also our website, our YouTube channel rather, you can type in Group 10 Financial into our YouTube channel, and all of our YouTube videos are on there. There's tons of great resources. Medicare is obviously, like I said, one big piece, but it literally is only 20% of the overall financial plan. There's other things in there. And I think a lot of people, they get the investment plan and then they get Medicare, but then they don't do the other parts. And so go to that channel, our YouTube channel, and you'll learn about the other 80% that you need to know, because it's the total holistic picture that makes everything better.
All right. I'm so glad we got to talk it through because, as you mentioned, it can just be overwhelming. So, Nick, thank you for your time today. I appreciate it.
Great being with you.